over 3,000 people who lost their lives in America. Why should we not shed tears for those Iraqis who have lost their lives, those Afghans who have lost their lives, those Palestinians who have lost their lives and continue to lose their lives? Why shouldn't we shed tears? The reason being, they fail to humanize us. And that's why I don't blame them. I blame you, the Muslims, the victims, because you refuse to fight back using the same technology, using the same means as they do.
Long live Vietnam, they beat everybody.
Where are your campaigns? Campaigns orchestrated by you, utilizing the mass media, utilizing the internet, utilizing your own TV stations. Yes, let's call it what it is. Propaganda. Why do you not engage in the very same propaganda that's used to demonize you to reverse the spell? Because most of the rich Muslims were bought by the West. Don't you dare blame the West for everything. They were bought by the West. No, they sold themselves to the West. They sold themselves.
We have channels where
they sold. Listen,
but it's not as powerful as the
listen. Don't tell me that they were bought by the West. They sold themselves to the West. You have Africans. You have Africans running around saying, "Pick me, pick me. I will be your slave. I will sell out my people. I will do everything you want. Pick me so that I can get rich."
Like Qatar nowadays, yes.
Of course.
But listen, we have the channels where you can find the truth. You can watch different news. But most of people, they just want the easy news.
Madam, of course. Of course. But what I'm saying to you is, there is a choice. And so therefore, if your TV stations and your domestic channels don't do that, you have to begin thinking about alternative means. Look at Al Jazeera. When Al Jazeera came up, Al Jazeera was seen as, ooh, a radical station. Look at the motherfuckers now. Look at the motherfuckers now. They're no better than BBC or CNN. They're spewing out, they're worse. They spew out the same propaganda from Qatar and all this. And my friends,
stick up for the rebels, don't they? Yeah, we know they're bastards.
Madam, understand it. The point I'm saying before I close is that we have to accept the bulk of the responsibility. Because I do not believe that we're just bought. You choose to sell yourself.
I agree with you.
I have had many offers to sell out. Many lucrative offers, or what I consider, in my terms, lucrative. But they've never been tempting.
But I'm not
never.
I agree with you when you say they
so, madam, that is the big problem that we have around the world now. And it's not just with Muslims and or Arabs or the West. You look at all institutes of power. The United Nations. What is the United Nations? The United Nations is an elite club of the ruling elite of whichever country you're from. So the ruling elite of Saudi Arabia sit there. The ruling elite of Nigeria sit there. The ruling elite of Britain send their representatives. And the ruling elite of the world, who dominate the same shit, sit down and make decisions and vote. It's corrupt to the core. So what hope is there? What hope is there for humanity? There's only one hope. Revolution. I won't define that revolution because I might get arrested. But use your own means to interpret revolution. Revolution simply means change. This society has to change. It cannot continue the way it's going. Something has to give. And humanity must prevail. If not, we're going to have the same rich, thieving, murdering bastards in control now. And when people will begin to start rising up or standing up and complaining is when their lives are affected here in the West, here in America, here in France. Look how last year we had the Wall Street protests. Do you remember those? What do they call it? Remember? Do you remember what they called it?
The
Occupy. Yeah. Occupy. And these people talking about Occupy. Why were Americans talking about Occupy this? Why were British people talking about Occupy the stock exchange? Because they were losing their jobs here. The economies here was affected. Their lifestyles were affected. These motherfuckers didn't say we're gonna occupy the city because of the treacherous, murderous policies that they have against Africa and the developing world. They didn't say we're gonna occupy the stock exchange because of the war in Iraq, because of Obama's policies of bombing innocent people in Somalia, Yemen, Pakistan or Afghanistan. They said let's occupy because they weren't receiving enough money at work. Let's occupy. Let's occupy because jobs are being cut. Let's occupy because the government is cutting spending, social spending. These were the core, the center of gravity of Occupy. So even in protest, we revert back to our own selfish needs. There was prospects with the Occupy movement. There were prospects. But the Occupy and those people who participated had to broaden their horizons, broaden their thinking, to incorporate other causes. That was the only way it could survive.